We are the Thunderbolts!
Can't call ourselves that.
God, thank you.
So, I watched the new Marvel movie Thunderbolts a couple of days ago, and as you can see, I'm super on time. I wanted to talk about it today. Exactly 2 weeks later, its release as of the making of this video. For those who don't know or don't really care about what Marvel puts out these days, Thunderbolts is an ensemble team from the Marvel comics. The members of the team are always changing, but only thing that stays relatively the same is the types of these members. You see, Thunderbolts isn't your typical superhero squad like the Avengers or X-Men. No sir, this team mostly consists of anti-heroes and supervillains. Some of the better known members include the likes of the Winter Soldier, Punisher, Deadpool, Baron Zemo, Taskmaster and Venom. Since their comic origin, it's been said that more than 100 different characters were associated with the Thunderbolts. But you are not here to listen to me talking about comic book history. We are here to talk about specifically Thunderbolts asterisks. My thoughts about the movie, what can they do with the team moving forward, and what did I want from it but didn't get. Maybe throughout this video I might touch into different elements that I can't seem to think of now too. We shall see, I don't plan these scripts in advance. So what did I think about Thunderbolts? Well, overall, I liked it. Did I love it though? I mean, I hoped I would, but unfortunately no. At least, not yet. Thunderbolts as a film, and more specifically as a MCU film, tries different things than the other movies we've seen from this brand. I think this is the only time in their live-action movie catalog where MCU dabbles with the topics like depression and addiction. Don't get me wrong, these topics are not strangers for Marvel Comics. There are a lot of famous stories that includes these elements. For example, in comics, Daredevil is a character that struggles with depression a lot. Or another one could be the Demon in a Bottle story arc in Iron Man Volume 1, where we see Tony Stark's struggles with his alcohol addiction. However, in MCU, life is a lot more sugar-coated. Obviously, the characters struggle with a lot, but much more realistic everyday issues like mental health conditions or substance abuse is mostly absent from these movies. I think how Thunderbolt's utilization of these elements in the movie is cleverly made. The main representatives of these are Yelena and Bob.
I'm Bob.
And rather than Bob, how Yelena showing her problems were more intriguing to me. Right from the start, the film shows us that she is struggling with suicidal thoughts, having no clear purpose in life, and loneliness. So much so, she talks about these problems to a guy she keeps hostage like it's a therapy session. Bob, on the other hand, is a more of a clear representative of these problems. He suffers from a childhood trauma of domestic violence, he is outspoken about his meth addiction, and shares the similar diagnosis that also Yelena suffers from. This also allows them to quickly form a bond. I think this new approach from MCU of utilizing real-life problems is a great breath of fresh air. Not only here, but with the likes of Daredevil Born Again, we see them showcasing more street-level important problems that people suffer from. Not only these tropes grounds the story and makes us, the audience, more engaged with the product, but also gives a different flavor that we haven't tasted from this brand since the beginning of MCU. The general dialogue in the film and the team's dynamic with each other was really entertaining for me as well. The one character that I had some sort of expectations of was John Walker, aka the US agent. And let's give kudos where it's due, because thanks to the writing in this film and the charisma of Wyatt Russell, the US agent was one of my favorite things about Thunderbolts. In Falcon and Winter Soldier, Walker was a little bit insufferable.
I am Captain America.
I mean, granted, that show isn't necessarily great or anything, but I feel like in here we see much cockier and self-accepted Walker. And this suits him a lot. Of course, he has his own demons that he battles with, but his general attitude towards everyone in this film was both super accurate to its comic self and also extremely entertaining. Of course, there's an elephant in the room that everyone's talking about, and that's the utilization of two characters, Taskmaster and the Ghost. With Taskmaster, I honestly can't figure out why they went with this way. Was she supposed to be an absurd comedy trope like the rope guy in the first Suicide Squad movie? I I mean, I was genuinely excited to see Taskmaster going into this movie. I know the MCU version haven't showcased neither efficiently nor properly, but Taskmaster in the comics is actually cool as fuck. I was genuinely confused when she got executed that quickly into the film. And for the Ghost, I mean, I think I'm kind of alone on this boat, but I feel like she wasn't badly utilized like a lot of people complaining about. Does she have the least runtime and effect than the other members? Sure, but I feel like Ava uses her availability efficiently. She saves the team on 2 different occasions, and her dialogue and witty answers were entertaining to watch. Could she have done more? Probably, but there is always an odd man out in these situations. Hopefully we see more from her in her future appearances. The final battle and the ending, on the other hand, had me a bit unsatisfied. I loved how they used Bob though. I think Sentry is one of the complex characters in the Marvel Universe, and I think they did a good job on showing the Void aspect of the character. Void to me felt like a superhero analog horror character. I don't know if you are familiar with this concept, but I suggest you searching Batman analog horror and the other variants in this genre. Bob's powers though, I have a little bit of mixed feelings on them. When he first turned the little girl that Alexi saved into an atomic bomb shadow, I went, yo, what the fuck? And when she started to turn more people to that, it seriously felt like an horror movie scene for a second. But seeing everyone was just moved into a mind castle type of place diminished that effect for me a little bit. The final battle between Bob and Void and everyone trying to save Bob was alright. It kind of felt like a Guardians of the Galaxy moment, where everyone is hugging Bob and trying to convince him to stop fighting with himself. So that's probably why I didn't get much affected by it. And the ending, I mean how Valentina used press to turn the team into new Avengers, was a bit weird. Like, are we supposed to forget everything she done now? I know Yelena told her that she's now in their hand, but unfortunately that didn't really satisfy me. But I like the idea of a new Avengers team with having members like this. While we are talking about the new Avengers, let's talk about the asterisks in the Thunderbolts name. I think this was one of the most unique marketing strategies I've ever seen. How many movies do you know that changed their name as a marketing strategy? I only know one, and that's this one. They didn't even needed this stunt in the first place. People were already intrigued by the idea of a Thunderbolts movie. Kudos to them though, that was a really interesting move. So what can they do with the new Avengers moving forward? We already know these characters will appear in Avengers Doomsday, but what else? For instance, I would like to see a new Avengers TV show. I think these characters are very suited for a concept like that. They are grounded, can have deep narrative moments, and can easily interact with other street-level MCU characters. Like around the end, where Void was turning the city of New York into a void, I was thinking to myself, what is Mayor Fisk thinking about this right now? Is he going to do something about it? Or where the fuck is Spider-Man when you most need him? I hope they at least mention the events of this film in the second season of Daredevil Born Again. And I hope they add more members to this team as well. In the after credits scene, we'll learn about Captain America is forming his new Avengers team, so seeing both teams race each other on adding new members will be fun. And with the general team for the members of New Avengers, I will hope to see more weird characters getting called up to the roster. Punisher will be fun, Kate Bishop will be a great addition. I would like to see more of her and Yelena's interactions now in a team setting. Or maybe a new Taskmaster if they ever think about bringing back the iconic villain. And for what did I want but didn't get? I mean, as we just mentioned her, I would like to see more of Taskmaster. Seeing her utilized a lot in the marketing but getting wasted in the movie was a little disappointing. Not only they wasted her quickly, but she also got manhandled by others in the bunker fight scene. Another thing that I didn't get was I couldn't see the film. This is not a jab at the film though, but a jab at the movie theater that I was in. Me and 2 buddies of mine were discussing before going into the film that we don't need an IMAX screen for Thunderbolts. Regular screen will be more than fine. Well, nope. The screen was awful. I couldn't see what was happening in a lot of the dark shots in the first half of the film. You know where after being shot down by Valentina's military, Bob flies up but then falls down? Well, when he was falling down, the screen was literally pitch black. That's why I want to watch this film one more time on a much better screen. It doesn't have to be IMAX either. Maybe I'll just wait for it to hit the streaming services, but I'm definitely rewatching this movie. Besides these things, like I said, I enjoyed Thunderbolts. I think it was a different experience than the majority of the other MCU movies. I really wished I could say I fucking loved this film, but maybe on my second watch. But I'm really excited to see more of these characters, and with the Fantastic Four on the horizon, I can't wait to see this new expanded Marvel Cinematic Universe. Thank you so much for sticking until the end. Liking and subscribing to the channel is always much appreciated. I'm glad you're here. Bye.